There have been whaling operations at the Port of Los Angeles. Way back in 1860, there was an island in the Port of Los Angeles called Dead Man's Island. It's not there any longer. It was incorporated into Terminal Island. The kind of whaling that we did from Los Angeles was a little bit different than the type of whaling in Moby Dick. Because in Moby Dick, when the ship left Nantucket or New Bedford, it was gone for years. In California, the type of whaling that we did was coast whaling. People would be spotters along the coast, and when they'd see the whales, they'd get into a boat, and it generally was a small boat, 6 to 10 men, and they'd go out and they'd harpoon that whale. They weren't gone for years at a time. They may be gone for a very long day. We had whaling operations all the way through probably the 1930s, 1940s. World War I and World War II, the whaling operations picked up again, but they were sporadic operations. One of the reasons why whaling in California, the coast whaling, was not as lucrative or productive as the New Bedford and the New England whaling was the fact that the California gray whale had less oil, and also the bone was not as highly sought after for carving. So the business of coast whaling in California was very sporadic. It would go up and down. It would really depend on the price of oil and whether it was productive to go out. This is an original whale oil lamp. It dates from about 1830 and it's made of pewter. You'd have wicks that would go through these holes and come out the top, and you'd light them. This is, of course, one of the snuffers to snuff out your whale oil before you went to bed. You'd have this lamp very close to you because it's not going to give off that much light. Prior to having electricity, we used oil for lighting. This is what those whalers were seeking, the whale oil. Since a young child, I've always been connected to the ocean. So I'm actually trained as a marine biologist. But when I went to the port, I really got interested in the port's history. It was amazing to know that we had whaling operations out here. By studying the history of the port, it's been very instructive to me. It's helped me in my job because I understand more about the relationship of the local communities to the port and what it means to those communities and what it means to the city of Los Angeles. There's some really exciting history down at the port. To think we had a whaling station down there in the 1860s on this wonderful island called Dead Man's Island. It's just a very exciting place, and I think the history of Los Angeles has some really great secrets, and whaling is probably one of them.
Thank you.